Welcome to the channel, Scott's Garage HTX. Don't forget the HTX. And this is going to be a little bit unconventional. I know I haven't filmed in a while, put anything out. I just had too much to do. I've been so busy at the shop. It's been balls to the wall. But I have bought a cargo trailer, and I'll do a video on this, and I was going to turn it into a little toy hauler. And we'll get into that. No big deal. That's up and coming. I have to do some things on it. But one of the things I was going to do in it was put in an AC unit, and I was going to use one of these EcoFlows. Here it is right here. And then I was going to test it, right? Well, what's the better time to test now? We've been without electricity for this bad weather for a couple of days, and the weather has been not that bad. Well, it got to 91, 95 degrees today, depending on where you were, so it is warm. Anyway, so I thought I'll try to test EcoFlow here in the bedroom. Pardon some of the mess in here. So real quick, I made myself a little board on the windows, and then the vent goes out and in through here. Now, a little bit about the EcoFlow is that it doesn't take outside air and condition it for the inside. It basically, I think it's like a heat pump. It takes air, and it has two cycles of air. It has air that's bringing in here and then out here. So this air is coming in, and then it heat exchanges it in here, and so this would be warm. I saw some other previews on this, and they said this really got hot, but quite honestly, it's not that hot. They suggest that you insulate this one tube, because if this gets really hot, then you're just heating the room. That makes sense, don't get me wrong, but it's really not that hot. This has only been running for just a little bit, and I've got it set at 68, and it's already down to 75. It says I've got 1.7 hours left on this battery. And this battery, and you have to look at some of this EcoFlow stuff. This is kind of a basically overview of the Eco, and I know you can go out there and see some real world testing as well. Here's my real world testing of it. I just want to see what it does. So it's taking air from the room, it's conditioning it, it's taking it outside. So it's got a cycle of air that comes in through here, and then the cycle of air that goes through here. Two cycles of air. It is doing a pretty good job. And then I also have this EcoFlow battery. Now that's supposed to run all night long. So whenever this battery goes, we'll just switch over to this battery. You cannot run it directly off of you have to go through this battery. You have to go through one of these batteries, basically. You cannot just go directly off a generator that I know of. And that's a little odd, but I do believe you have to go through one of these batteries. I'll have to look at these directions. Shouldn't be that bad. You know me in directions. Anyway, we're going to see what this does, but the air is nice. It's nice and cool. So this will help us sleep at night, and then during the day when we're at work, I can take this into the shop, charge both of these batteries, and at nighttime when we come home, we'll be able to sleep at least in the bedroom with comfort. What do you think? Well, fingers crossed. I'll let you know how cool we get. So how did the EcoFlow Wave 2 do last night? Yeah, pretty good actually, I guess. By the time I had set everything up last night, it was like 9 o'clock at night, and we turned everything on. It was, I don't know, a little above 80 degrees, maybe 85 degrees outside. It was 82 degrees inside the room, but it was 96% humidity outside. By the time we went to bed, checked the thing, it was like 10 o'clock, and it was 76 degrees in the room, and it was going strong. That was pretty good, and I was hopeful. This room is 16 by 16 by 8, which I believe would be 2,000, a little over 2,000 cubic feet. There is a bathroom over here, so let's call it 2,100. And the dimensions on the app, and it comes with an app, and it's very useful, quite honestly. The dimensions on the app itself say it's cooling. Let me get my glasses, pardon me. Back. Specifications: cooling area 107 square feet. and that's useless information to me. I don't know about you, but 107 square feet with 10-foot ceilings or 15-foot ceilings are quite different. So maybe they mean 10 by 10 by 10 or something like that. So, something like that. Anyway, this room I think is larger than the suggested cooling area, so I knew we'd probably be going uphill from there. Really what I'm trying to do is find out what it would do for my cargo trailer and try and turn it into a trailer. We'll get to that more later. About 12 o'clock at night, I noticed from the sound of the machine that it was not cooling. It was just on fan mode. And so I learned something. You know me in directions, throw them away. They're around somewhere. But basically, this thing will gather condensate on the bottom right through here. And it has a self-drain mode, and it will drain free, basically. And this is what so I woke up and I was like, oh shoot, it's not cooling. And I hit the app and it had this error message on it saying, excessive water detected, please drain, and then a little OK button. Hit the OK button, and it took it to a different screen that explained it really good. It really did. So it had pictures and everything. If you can see that, I hope that this focus is for you. But basically, as a drain-free mode in which it'll evaporate itself, the condensate. But it says if you're in areas that have higher than 70% humidity, Houston, it's not going to, it's going to catch up, and it's not going to be fast enough, and you need to self-drain it. And I was like, well, I have the hose plugged in, so why isn't it self-draining? I couldn't figure it out. And then I was able to lead a bit further, and it has drain-free mode, and it has external drainage. And you can hit that button, it's right there. So when you do that, it goes into external drainage, and now it has a little pump. It'll pump it through the hose. So once I did that, it was successful, and it was about the same time that I needed to change the battery. This lower battery here got about 3 hours before. It was like 13%. No, it was actually at 6% by the time I got up at 12. And it said like 13 minutes left on it. It does have a little monitor on there telling you how many minutes or how long it thinks the battery's going to run based on the life of the battery. So then I switched over to this EcoFlow Pro. It is, I need to weigh that. I'll weigh that. That thing's heavy. But it has been running since 12 o'clock. It is after 7 now, and it says I have, real quick, EcoFlow says I have 29% left and 2.8 hours left. That's pretty good. I do like that. And to let you know, it has 3 fan modes, and I'm on the second fan mode, or medium. I guess they're probably slow and medium and fast. So when those are on, and let's get a decibel reading here. That's about 5 feet. About 47 decibels. So I hit the fan higher. About 52 decibels. There. I didn't see the need to go much higher than the medium. It was doing pretty good. Now, another thing, and you can pick this up on some of the other reviews of this. This is warm. I stated that before. It is about 110 degrees right there. If you don't have it, it's 99 degrees, so this is where it's all pressed together, but it's about 100 degrees, 108 degrees here. And I guess you could figure that that's heating the room and kind of competing with this. So some other sites have said you could insulate this and keep that, but it's not emanating the heat very much at all. So I didn't go through the trouble of doing that. What I did learn, that's the issue, right? Get to this thing. So I learned some other things on it as well, because as I was sleeping and I was adjusting things were beeping. It has an ambient light mode. So what I learned was you go into the settings And you can change the screen timeout from 10 seconds, 30 seconds, all the way up to 10 minutes or never. And that was kind of when I was adjusting the temperature, it would stay on for it defaults to 5 minutes. And that was kind of irritating me. I wanted to shut off. So I changed it to a minute. And then the automatic drain thing we covered. You can do units of temperature, Celsius, Fahrenheit. Of course you can do that. The ambient lighting, you can have always on or always off. Or at screen time, I have it always off because I want to sleep. I don't want any light in the room. And then there's a beep, and the beep itself, that in the middle of the night, and you're selecting things, that's irritating. So I turned the beep off. Those are the things I learned. What I haven't learned is really, what is this going to do in my cargo trailer? My cargo trailer is 7 by 14, and that's almost 700 cubic feet. So, but it's not insulated. It is thick. It's like an inch and a half thick. If you saw the construction of this cargo trailer, it's not. It's aluminum, but it's just not one wall of aluminum. It is 2 sheets of aluminum with honeycomb in the middle of it. It's a good trailer, but that's not really insulation. But it's better than just one sheet of aluminum. And this room, of course, is insulated. So that's what I don't know. And I really didn't get that question answered, although it was very comfortable last night. At 5 o'clock in the morning, when I got up and do some things, let the doggy out and such, it was, so you're going to hear these numbers, you go, well, that's stupid. It was 72 degrees outside, it was 73 degrees inside the room. But that's not telling the whole story. It was 95% humidity outside. So when I walk outside this room, we have that door closed, the temperature, the feeling itself between this room and outside that door, and definitely outside, was much different. So this was very comfortable during the night. And the other thing is this fan, it's a pretty good fan, and we sleep, what is that, 10, 15 feet away. I might be 15 feet away, she might be 10 feet away. It blows a nice cool air across you. And it's cool. I mean, what's coming out of here right now, and it'll tell you, but we can do this. It says it's 52, 54 degrees, and it will tell you on the app as well what it's blowing at, and it says 53, so it's pretty accurate what's coming out of here. And of course, as it runs, it gets cooler and cooler and cooler. When I first turned it on, it was like at 62 degrees coming out of here, and that's what the app said too. Now, as it runs and runs and runs more, it gets cooler and cooler and cooler. And that's going to be dependent also on the air in the room. Because remember, this takes this air and circulates it this way, and it's taking that air and circulating it this way. And that air does not come inside this room. So, I don't know how it's going to perform in the trailer, but last night it was comfortable. The decibels are not high. It's definitely worth it. Now, last thing I'll do is I'll weigh that and tell you what it weighs, because it is cumbersome and it's heavy, that battery. Now I need to charge it, and I'll also let you know what are the charge times. This is completely dead. That is getting to, what did I say it was? We're at 28%. I'll charge that and then tell you what those charge times were. That is how much water was, how much condensate that produced in about 11 hours, all the way up to my fingers creases right there. So quite a bit. So that's how much that weighs, 97 pounds. It's pretty big. And it is a bear to move around. And I should mention, though, that you need to get the adapter to it if you are going to hook it up to the AC unit itself. You need the adapter plug, which plugs in the back here, and you need this cord. And that wasn't, hello Lucy, how are you? And that, basically, I didn't know that actually, and I didn't see it anywhere on the website on the accessories and stuff like that. It just happened to be mentioned to me when I did the ordering, because I ordered through the phone and not online. So consider that. when you do make this order if you want to power your AC unit by this unit here. The last thing I'll say about the EcoFlow Wave 2 is it seems to cool faster, meaning the temperature out in the outlet of the vent is colder the colder you set the temperature on the thermostat. That's not the same as what your home thermostat would do. Have you ever run into this thing where you come home from a vacation, say you set your thermostat up to 80 while you were gone because you wanted to save on energy or something. You come home, it's hot, you want to get it down to 72 degrees. Well, there's no use setting your home thermostat down to 65 degrees thinking that it's going to get to 72 degrees faster. It's not. You got to put it 72 degrees and it'll get to the same 72 degrees in the same amount of time. This didn't seem to work that way. Actually, if you set the thermostat lower, it seemed to get colder out of the outlet of the temperature of the vent itself. It was pretty good. I'll have to see how it does in the cargo trailer. I still have to do some work on that to get that fixed up. You guys keep on keeping on, and catch you next time.